Tim Drake is without a doubt one of the most important members to the Batman family. However, despite all this, not only has Tim Drake's character development slowed down to a standstill, but it's actually regressed a little bit. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about Tim Drake, where the character is at right now, and where the character should go from here. But before we talk about the Tim Drake here and now, we have to talk about how Tim Drake became one of the most important members to the Batman family. Simply put, Tim Drake redefined what it meant to be Robin. He redefined not only the role, but the dynamic between that of Batman and Robin. See, Batman and Robin, the dynamic duo, is one of the greatest teams in all of comics, and they are the greatest representation of a mentor and a sidekick. But towards the 80s, what it meant to be Batman and Robin changed. Dick Grayson evolved and grew into Nightwing, and Jason Todd didn't quite hit the spot that DC was hoping for the character, so he was subsequently killed off. However, Tim Drake came in, and not only did he strengthen Robin as a character, but he also strengthened the dynamic between the dynamic duo. But it wasn't just about updating and redefining Robin or the dynamic duo. Tim Drake made Robin cool again. He made the concept of Robin its own thing, its own hero, separate from Batman. He had multiple miniseries and an ongoing title. Fans were more easily to accept him because he had the blessing of the original Robin, Dick Grayson, something that Jason Todd never had, which allowed for that transition and acceptance for the character. Tim Drake also grew and fostered unique relationships to just him, making them his own and redefining that character's relationships for a generation. However, like I said at the beginning of the video, despite how important Tim Drake is, Tim Drake's character development has stopped. And not only has it stopped, but it's kind of regressed. After Bruce Wayne was assumed to be dead, Tim Drake left the mantle of Robin, which was picked up by Damian Wayne, and he assumed a new guise, Red Robin, a motif, a persona to separate himself from the Bat family, because Tim Drake was going to do things that wasn't necessarily condoned by his brothers and sisters. He was going to act in ways that weren't necessarily aligned with the Bat family. He was going to be a lot more Machiavellian in his approach to getting the job done. And the Red Robin persona was his way of doing that without smearing the legacy that was the Bat family. And although it was very controversial and a mixed bag with fans to turn Tim Drake into a new persona because he was so popular as Robin, this was a natural evolution of the character. And the fact that we had such a strong replacement with Damian Wayne, who was completely different Tim Drake at the time of his inception, it made it so that this transition felt right. It felt good. And I know there's some criticism with the costume, and there's definitely things I would have changed, whether it be the pre-New 52 or the New 52, but Tim Drake has finally become his own man, stepping outside the shadow of the Bat. But something happened. Bruce Wayne returned, became Batman again, and now Tim Drake is, well, he's a new character with a new persona, but no new mission. No new direction. So where does the character go? Well, luckily, or in this case, unluckily, the New 52 happened, which allowed for repositioning of characters and personas, and Red Robin became the leader of the Teen Titans. But unfortunately, Teen Titans was a pretty bad comic during New 52, and for a long time, well, Red Robin kind of just treaded water, for lack of a better term. Then things started to happen. Red Robin's costume started to look a little bit more like his classic Robin costume, about the RR on his chest. And then his costume started to change even more to look like his Robin costume, and with just one R. And then he started to go by just Robin. And suddenly the progression and growth that he had as a persona, Red Robin, was fading away. And instead, he became Robin once again. See, DC had two problems when it came down to Tim Drake. First is they didn't know what to do with the character of Red Robin. Outside of throwing him on Young Justice or Teen Titans, he really didn't have a place in the Batman family, or at least not a unique spot. The second problem is that Tim Drake was so white hot in the 90s and into the early 2000s as a character, as Robin, that nostalgia just wanted to drag him back into that role. He, along with other characters, had a strong fan base and cult following. Characters like Wally West or Kyle Rayner. These characters were heavily associated with 90s DC Comics. So when the opportunity to turn him back into Robin happened, fans generally accepted it because, well, it's their comfort food. It's what they knew about the character. Never have we had a situation where a Robin has regressed back to a previous role, minus Stephanie Brown, but she was only Robin for a couple issues. Dick Grayson has become incredibly successful as his own character in Nightwing, one of the most popular characters DC has. And Jason Todd may have been treading water as well, but he has yet to regress back to a Robin role. He is solidly in that position of loner outcast of the Batman family that's misunderstood and angsty. It may be cliche, but his. And sure, you could bring up other characters in the Batman family that have regressed back to a previous role, such as Barbara Gordon becoming Batgirl again, but the difference with these characters is, well, it never seems like a character regression. Barbara Gordon is both Batgirl and Oracle, and actually right now is more Oracle than Batgirl. She only hits the field for emergencies. She's usually helping things out as Oracle. Stephanie Brown went from being Batgirl to Spoiler, but then has become Batgirl again. She has kind of regressed, but then evolved back into the persona of being a Batgirl. And Cassandra Cain's Orphan wasn't really anything unique or defined. It was just Batgirl without a cape or ears. And then we have the big problem that there's two Robins. Damian Wayne, the other Robin, has grown, evolved, and has had more character development than Tim Drake has, which, now that there's two Robins and one is better written and has had more development, kind of overshadows and hurts the other Robin, that is Tim Drake. Listen, it's not all bad for Tim. Tim has actually had some pretty good writing in the past 3 or 4 years, at least since the Failsafe story arc onwards. But that writing is just really good writing of him with Bruce. Like, we haven't really had good writing of him being himself. So, what do we do with Tim Drake from here? Where does the character go? Well, I think for the character to grow and evolve and become its own character once again, and not play it safe as part of the dynamic duo, you have typically one of 3 options. The first option is to graduate him again. It doesn't have to necessarily be Red Robin. Like, you can turn him into a new persona, but give him a new city to work with, give him strong supporting characters, and then allow the character to grow and develop on his own, similar to that of Nightwing and Jason Todd, at least up to a point. Give him the development that Damian Wayne has been getting. The second one, and probably an unpopular one, is you can change his role to being more of an information broker, like an oracle for the Batman family. Or the third option, which a lot of people wouldn't like, but you could retire the character. Allow Tim Drake to go to college. Allow him to foster and grow his relationships and his love interests. Allow him to be a regular person and give him kind of a happy ending. Granted, this removes him from selling titles and making money, and I'm sure people rather see him under a cowl or with a domino mask than retired, but it is a way to allow Tim Drake to kind of reset, take him off the board for a couple years, and bring him back. Whatever decision DC makes, I think the 2 that they should avoid are, 1, killing off Tim Drake, which never works at all. Just because you don't know what to do with a character now doesn't mean you won't figure out a solution later. And number 2 is, I think his time as Robin should be limited. Yes, it's comfortable for him. Yes, it's safe for him, but he will always ever be in that position. Never growing, never changing, never evolving. Robin is a stepping stone to a new persona for whomever has the Robin role. But that's just my opinion. What's yours? Comment Stitch Duet. I want to know.